So hello friends, welcome to my new video. So today in this video I'm going to discuss with you all about a very important topic that as an optometrist we all should know, and it's a very useful method in our day-to-day OPD practice to rule out the presence of squint. So I'm talking about covert test. So we are going to learn about covert test properly, and we are also going to learn how to perform covert test, when to perform covert test, and what is the purpose to perform different types of covert test. Okay, so let's start. So there is three types of covert test. So before that I need to tell you, to perform covert test you need an instrument that is called as occluder. So occluder look like this. Okay. So there is three types of covert test: direct covert test, cover uncover test, and alternate covert test. Okay. So we will going to learn these every types separately. Okay. So direct cover test is performed to rule out tropia, cover uncover test is performed to rule out phoria, and alternate cover test is performed to detect the alternate squint. Tropia means the squint or the deviation of the eye that you can see by your eyes, that is called as tropia. That if suppose the person is having his eye deviated outward or inward, that is nasally. So you can see that yes, there is a deviation of his right eye nasally, that is a esotropia, but you can see this thing, that is called as tropia. Phoria means you cannot see, you need to test it to rule out the presence of phoria, that is the hidden squint. So why hidden squint happen? Because the deviation of the eye is so less, then both eyes can overcome the fusion reflex and they can fix it properly. So at that stage we cannot see the deviation, that is called as phoria or hidden squint. Okay. And alternate cover test, so he is performed to detect alternate squint. Alternate squint means squint is present in both eyes alternately, that is called as alternate squint. Okay. So suppose this is a patient, so you can see this patient is having left eye deviated outward, that is exotropia. So to rule out exotropia you need to perform direct cover test. So in direct cover test what we do is that we place the occluder over the normal looking eye. This is the normal looking eye, this is the deviate eye. So we need to break the fusion so that this eye will move. Okay. So you need to place the occluder over this normal looking eye. Let's place it. Okay, fine. Now as we break the fusion, so that this deviate eye will come to fix it, to maintain the image to be focused on the macula, to produce a good image. So this eye will come nasally and fix it properly. So as previously the eye was having exotropia or exodeviation, that is the temporal deviation, and when we break the fusion then it come to the opposite direction. So this is actually the thing that is called as exotropia. This is how you will detect. So to perform this test, first of all you need to instruct the patient to see a distant object clearly. Okay. So you can select a letter that is 2 line more than his visual acuity to relax the accommodation or those things. Okay. So you just instruct the patient to see the largest letter on your Snellen chart or Logmar, whatever chart you are using, and after that place the occluder over the normal looking eye. This is the normal looking eye. So when the patient is seeing at a distant object, then you will place the occluder to his normal looking eye and then observe the movement of the uncovered eye. So here the uncovered eye is moving opposite to the opposite from its deviation point. So it means that there is so this is how, by looking at the movement of the eye, we can detect yes, there is presence of tropia. Like it is mostly done, suppose there is a less amount of deviation is there, that we are suspecting that yes, there is a presence of squint, then it seems to be that there is presence of squint, but it may not be squint. Okay. So to rule out that thing also you need to perform direct cover test. Another thing is that why we perform direct cover test, because there is a term that is called as pseudostrabismus. Pseudostrabismus is actually a very confusing thing. Like if the patient is having very broad nasal bridge or very shallow temporal canthus, so then the eye is appearing to be actually having deviated, but actually there is no deviation. So for that purpose you need to perform direct cover test to rule out yes, there is any presence of deviation or not. Okay. So this is how direct cover test is performed. Now let's move to cover uncover test. As I already told you that cover uncover test is performed to detect the presence of phoria. Phoria is the hidden squint. So here initially the patient is not patient seem to have a normal binocular single vision. Okay, that is called as normally orthophoric. So but actually there is a presence of squint, but that is hidden. Why? Because the deviation is so less, then I can overcome the fusion reflection, can fix it properly. So for that purpose we need to place the occluder in front of one eye. So in cover uncover test you need to use the translucent type occluder, so that you can observe the movement of the eye that is under cover. So we will place the translucent occluder in front of the eye, and if strabismus is present in this eye, then the eye under cover will deviate in absence of fusion. Okay. So the eye deviate outward. Okay. And when you move this translucent occluder to the other eye, when you shift this translucent occluder to other eye, you need to see the movement of the eye that was under cover. Okay. So when you move the eye to the other eye, then look, the eye that was previously moved temporarily is shifting nasally to take fixation. Okay, because the other eye is occluded. So our brain will try to maintain the normal image formation on the fovea. So for this purpose, this eye will again fixate. So by looking at the movement of the eye, we can understand, like if the eye is exo, then after changing the occluder, then the eye will move to the nasal side. If it is eso, then it will go to the temporal side. If it is hyper, it will come down. If it is hypo, then it will come up. Okay, and take up fixation. So by looking at the movement, we can easily understand that what type of strabismus it is actually. Okay. Now this is alternate cover test. I told you earlier also that why alternate cover test is performed. So it is performed to rule out the presence of alternate squint. That means squint is present in both eyes. So we need to find it. So we can see that the patient left eye is deviated outward. So initially it seemed to us that only left eye is having squint and it is deviating outward. So there is presence of exotropia. Okay, but when we place the translucent occluder in front of the other normal looking eye, then the eye that was deviated outward will take up fixation. Okay, but that eye, this eye also have squint. So in absence of fusion, this eye will deviate outward. Okay, so this eye is also having squint. So when you move this translucent occluder to the other eye, then the eye that was under cover will again come to the normal point to take a fixation. For this from this thing we can understand that squint is present in both eyes, that is correct, alternate squint. So this is how cover test is performed, where there is three main types of cover test are there: direct cover test, cover uncover test, and alternate cover test. Okay, so that's all friends. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like my video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope this video helped you to understand about cover test and how it is performed properly. Okay, so thank you so much.